we're here now in February 2022, and the last 2 years were fairly eventful for everyone.
Yeah.
How did you fare out?
It was very kind of overwhelming. I didn't really like it.
Very scary. It wasn't the best.
And were you worried?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you worried during the whole 2 years?
Well, once it kind of came through the 2 years, it kind of, I didn't really get as much worried, but I was still kind of a little bit worried.
Yeah. Was it a whole big shock school, having to go home and being homeschooled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
God. And is there any kind of memory strikes you about the last 2 years at all?
Oh, I don't think so, but other than like not being able to see your friends and missing a lot of education, and it's really hard to work online.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep up with the work online. It was more so like, because when you're in class you kind of have to do it, but when you're at home you don't really have to, so you have to push yourself to do the work.
Yeah.
And did you miss your friends?
Yeah.
That was the worst thing, friends and family.
Yeah.
And can you remember thinking back to the first lockdown? What was that? That was March. And we were all staying within I think it was 2 kilometres. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do then? Can you remember even?
I can, not really, but like it's
kind of hard because we were in 4th class, so we wouldn't really understand it as much as we would now. So it's kind of
a bit weird.
And what did you do? Remember, think back there to March 2 years ago, right? And we were all at home, all in our houses at home. What did you do to entertain yourselves? Did you go for walks? Did you do big flowers? Did you?
Mostly like play outside or go for a walk. I mean, I have cousins on my lane, family on my lane, so I can just play with them.
And we were in the middle of moving house, so we were just kind of going from house to house, bringing all the stuff to our new house.
Okay, so that was a big thing going on in your life.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to do anything like go out and cycle on your bikes that you never got a chance to do before?
No.
Did you go walking in the fields looking at flowers or primroses?
Well, I have a field beside my house and we're great friends with the farmers, so yeah, we kind of go into the field. We helped a sheep that was dying.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tell us all about that.
So it was, it's like these fences, like a goal, like the net on the goal, and its neck was stuck in that, and so we had to like grab it by the neck and like pull it out.
So that was a bit of adventure during the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything at all in the last 2 years you did that you never would have done before? Did you go horse riding or did you do something unusual to say, God, I had a bit of spare time?
Well, when I went back to football in under 12s, I wasn't very confident under 10s, but I practiced a lot. And then went into 12s and I played nearly every match. I was playing nearly full matches for every match.
Serious? Yeah. And did you get involved in any kind of sport at all?
I was on the same team as her.
Lord.
Yeah.
And come here to me, did you do anything like taking up baking or cooking or?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Baking with my aunt. We love baking together now.
You serious?
Yeah.
So that came out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And had you baked beforehand with her?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be very often.
So what are you baking,
We baked banana bread and carrot cake was one of the things. And with my stepdad I made cheesecakes a lot of the time.
I bake with my mammy, and we baked like birthday cakes and all. We made this big giant cake with different colours, and we put Skittles inside of it. So yeah, we were baking.
What did you miss from school?
Friends, mostly.
Friends, teachers.
Yeah.
And you know, like your regular days, did you get, well, not we know in the morning, you get up probably 7:30, get to
Yeah.
school in normal time. Is that
The
what you-
routine, it's just,
I
the
go on the
routine
bus.
is just messed up.
Yeah. I usually go on the bus, so it's there's the local bus that comes into Taghmon and it goes around. And there's so we usually get up at like 6 o'clock to get ready or something.
So you're getting up that early, that lovely routine that you had.
We get the bus at 8:40.
Okay.
So
And did you find yourself, did you have a routine when you were at home?
No.
no.
And were you doing much kind of Zoom classes or Teams, something like that?
No,
No,
we
not-
done it on Seesaw, so it was all like just typed out and we just had to go through it, and it seemed like you do the same amount in school, but it seems like less in school because you're with your friends and all and you get your breaks.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
And then
And
when
how-
you're like at home, you try and like you kind of do it all together. You don't get breaks because you want to get it done. So it's kind of
You
Well,
kind of
some people-
overwhelm yourself with it.
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're saying that you were you didn't give yourself breaks at home, did you not?
No, because we mainly wanted to get it done.
And what would the downside of that be, do you think?
You just like, if when you're in school you don't know what's going to happen next, so like the teacher could be doing maths and then she might say you're doing English now, take out your books, but when you're at home you're kind of just like, oh my god, what are we at now? You're kind of just overwhelmed by how much work is in front of you.
Yeah.
And would you think the idea of taking proper breaks, is that important?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, you were probably okay at using technology before COVID, were you?
Yeah.
How did you find your skills after COVID?
Oh, got a phone when 2021. I got a phone that Christmas. So, well, no, 2020 Christmas, sorry. And I got the phone then, and it was just kind of, you're kind of just stuck in where you're moving and how much you can do on the technology that you wouldn't be able to do in school. But I just prefer being in person. It's way
Yeah. It's way
easier.
easier because then you can easily get help. Especially because I actually had a little baby, a sister during COVID, and it was really hard because like I wouldn't really get much help because mommy would be like running around after like trying to like do with my little sister and helping me, and my granddad would be at work, so there's no one really home, so it'd be
Yeah.
hard. It'd be
And
really
then-
stressful.
Then my brother struggles with reading and writing and stuff, so mommy would always be helping him. So whereas if I needed help, I'd kind of have to just go on Google and try explain to myself that way.
Yeah. And even things as well, do you have broadband at home? Was the internet slow or fast in the house?
Oh, definitely slow. There's so much people on it right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really slow and really annoying.
And was there certain parts of the house you'd go to get it faster?
Oh, if I was in my bedroom now, I'd have to go into the sitting room to get internet. I learned how to edit videos.
Yeah. And mostly use like, since we were using an app all the time to do all our work and all, we're kind of learning more about technology then because we're using it more often to look at the work we have to do. And
Yeah.
so it made us more kind of used to technology.
You probably just got tired of it at the end, I'd say, did you?
Yeah.
You just prefer to be in person with your friends.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting. You said you learned how to video edit.
Mhm.
That's a big skill to be able to do that.
Yeah.
What did you learn? What app were you using?
I was editing videos on CapCut, so like you just put in the pictures or whatever, and then you can put in your texts and stuff like that.
Brilliant. What annoyed you the most about the whole thing?
Not being able to see
Friends.
and family.
I mean,
Yes.
like, you're kind of like going to the shops and like most people are, especially with the toilet paper, most people are taking the toilet paper now. So it's really hard to find them.
And then my nanny fell ill during the 2 years, and I wasn't able to see her as much. Like she could have come back, but she wasn't able to because of the flights being delayed and stuff like that.
And we take quite a lot of things for granted about what we could do and what we couldn't do
Yeah.
until they're,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And you mentioned there about all the toilet paper going missing. Did you spot anything else in shops and things you're going? Was there anything kind of queer or odd? You're going, God, that's super unusual. I'd never think today I'd see all the bread gone out a little or Aldi or.
Yeah, like you'd go into a shop and like all the shelves would be clear. There'd be like an eye in them. They'd just be clear. And then they'd be like trying to rush through town, trying to find a shop to find like food and toilet paper and
It'd be like if you were told there's a storm going to happen, everyone's running in to get the stuff.
yeah. So
What did you stock up on in your house?
You kind of just like if you saw like 2 things of bread in the shop, you get the 2 things.
yeah.
If not, it'd be gone.
Yeah, you try and get as much as you can, so then you wouldn't have to go like every day. Because most people are trying to get things because of COVID, we can't travel as much.
What were the things you missed? Was there any particular thing you missed you couldn't get?
Sweets. Yeah.
Not really. It's just kind of the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner every evening. Because you wouldn't eat different types of food, so it's just kind of the same.
And then there'd be that like one special day that you'd have like pancakes or
Yeah.
something.
You get the one special day with maybe a different dinner, or you're
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
How did you find the whole mask wearing thing? And did you have to wear masks in shops and stuff? Or?
Well, I didn't at the start, but then coming near the end of it, we started had to wearing them. But I was still wearing them from the start because I'd be seeing older people and I didn't want them to get sick. And my brother has asthma, so I didn't want him to get it either.
I have my great granny, she lives like right beside me, and usually I go like up to her, me and my granddad would go up to her to make sure she's okay, and we'd have to wear masks around her because she's 83, and so we don't want her to get sick, and it's really not good for like to be around like for an old lady to get sick, so we had to kind of wear masks.
And was ever kind of, did you know at the start when no one knew how this thing could really how it would spread and we were worried, do you remember even things like going to town and taking off your jacket and washing your hands 20 times and all that?
And then like you'd be sanitising and like the sanitizer go down your sleeve and you'd be right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be nice.
Or you'd go into one shop and sanitize your hands, and 20 seconds later you'd be in another shop and you have to sanitize again. Just
and
in
your
case.
hands would just smell awful.
Yeah, the smell of it.
It would just smell disgusting. Like we have sanitizer down on the table and we have to sanitize like when we come in, before lunch, after lunch, and then we have 2 lunches, so before that lunch and after that lunch, and then before we go home.
And how did you get used to all the things in school, coming back to school and where you were sitting and where you weren't sitting? Was that?
That was kind of hard because when you're like, say if someone's tormenting you in school, the teacher and move you away from each other. But whereas when the COVID was there, you can't really move as much. So it's kind of limited to where you're allowed to go to.
And how do you find wearing masks?
Oh, I hate it.
I'm kind of used to it now because I've been wearing it since like a year and a half now.
But especially but we do get like our teacher lets us out for like mass breaks, so we get to go run around, and then like lunchtime are breaks, mass breaks. So
It keeps your face warm though.
We do.
That's the good part. You go outside and you keep your face warm with it.
Yeah, and then like but yeah, we get breaks, so it's not too bad.
And how do you find windows open in school?
It's freezing. Down in our class, it's absolutely freezing.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the coldest class in the school.
Yeah, like every teacher would come in and they'd be like, "Oh gosh," and they'd like walk out the door because it's so cold, and like even a message went out like that the parents could pick the children up because it was really cold in the
And the
classrooms.
radiators weren't working. So
Would you be happy to see masks gone out of school?
but like also kind of not to keep everyone safe. But like it's not nice like breathing in them. So
I'd still probably wear it even if it did go out of school, depending on how many people are wearing it in the class and stuff like that.
yeah, it's not nice wearing masks, but then you want to wear them to keep each other safe.
Have you noticed a big change in people in the last couple of weeks after Christmas?
Yeah. It's kind of getting more into a bit of more sort of normality than it was a few months ago.
But like COVID in in 2020, and then the Christmas was just not nice for the COVID. But then it's kind of this Christmas was like a difference, but because it wasn't so bad, because COVID's kind of calmed down, but most people forget that COVID's still around.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so bad for Christmas, but it was just like you'd rather have like a normal Christmas than a COVID Christmas.
Yeah, like the COVID cases now would be like this, but whereas a few months ago they'd be going up and back down, and you're like, when's it going to go back up again?
And you said that your Christmas was affected. Was it the first Christmas was affected with you, was it?
Oh,
2021?
Yeah. A lot.
Or 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, my nan was meant to come down from England, but she couldn't make it down because it's just too dangerous for her to be travelling.
Because usually we actually, in Christmas 2020, we'd usually have people that like, we'd have loads of people staying at our house that night for Christmas Eve tomorrow, like my nanny and my auntie and all. But then for 2020, we couldn't even have any of them, so it was just like me, mummy, my stepdad, and my little sister and granddad. So it was like the normal household.
Yeah. Did you miss any of your birthdays?
My birthday was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Did you have a party? Could you have a normal birthday party?
No, we could just have a little bit of family over. I had friends over. So.
Just a few friends. And I was meant to have a proper party for my last year in school, but I haven't got to have it yet, so.
And especially for our confirmation, it was different too.
Yeah, that was
really
really
hard. Because we were there would be one person standing here and another person standing there. Yeah. So it'd be all separate, so it'd be hard to get them in one photo.
Mm.
Hopefully in a year's time or less, we look back and go, God, that was a strange time.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but COVID was really a shock for everyone, mostly, because we really weren't expecting it to happen, and it affected, most people lost their lives because of it. It was really, and families were really sad, and it wasn't nice. Yeah, it wasn't the same.
Kind of feels just isolating being in the house all the time. Like, some people love family, but I love family, but it's just too much when you're there all day, every day.
Yeah.
Did you ever think sometimes about your own lives where you were living in County Wexford and you said, God, it could be worse, it could be in the middle of London, or it could be in the middle of the city of Dublin, or...
Yeah, and sometimes I'd even think oh, thank God we didn't get it as bad as like China and all that.
Yeah, you'd kind of just, you'd feel sorry, and then you'd think of other places how bad they'd have it, and then you're just like, what are you even thinking?
But then you're also feeling like, oh wow, how lucky is Wexford?
How lucky we are
that we didn't get it that bad.